of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize, Creole and Garifuna.
Good morning. Here we are once again to do our daily devotion. Today I want to talk to about one of my favorite persons in the Bible. And I pray for my grandson to have the spirit of Daniel. Daniel is one of the persons in the Bible who I so admire, Daniel and Joseph. And today we look at a special case with Daniel. And I want to reach to where it is revealed why God did not allow those lions to eat him. Then the king, when he heard these words, was so displeased with himself and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. So the king was set up by these guys. They set him up. They made him make a commitment as a king, and then he couldn't go back. He tried every way to deliver Daniel, but he'd already given his word, so he couldn't go back. Sometimes as Christians, when we have to be careful how we make rash decisions out of our mouths. We make rash decisions out of our mouth. And I've learned as a Christian, and I say with my children, to love my children, to love them. And just want them to humble themselves, to help them as much as I possibly can. My life is seeing my children do good in life, physically and spiritually. That is what will make me very, very happy. It says, then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. These are some horrible people. They plan, they strategize, but you see, in all things, God is there. And they plan, and yes, they may feel as if though they're ahead. So they told the king, you can't, for the law and the Medes and Persians, you can't change what you had said. You must continue through with it. They reminded the king, right? Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him in the dens of flies. And you see, he knew that he had to do it. Two good men here, because this king, he was influenced by Daniel, heavily influenced by Daniel. And so he tried his best to see if he could save his friends. But he had already mouthed off some serious things which he could not change. The life we live is a testimony, the only testimony we have. And the king says, now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. That is beautifully said. Your God, who you continually serve, will deliver you. You see, because these people had different opinion about gods. Today, people have gods, and even people who have false gods treat their false gods better than we treat our God. But now the king is pointing out to Daniel that he loves God, that Daniel loves God. And it shows that he loves our God. And the king says, the God whom you serve continually will save you. Then a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den. And the king sealed with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose may not be changed concerning Daniel. In other words, he gave Daniel no special favor. But you see, when you make one step towards God, he's going to make many more steps towards you. And the same way, Daniel did things to influence all these leaders. As a matter of fact, when he landed in Babylon as a youth, what he did the first time to say he is not going to defile himself, it influenced the eunuch. God gave him favor. This is a man who had favor with God because he loves the Lord. Verse 18 says, then the king went to his place and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. You know, sometimes we have troubles and we just go to our bed and we don't care. This man spent the entire night praying the king. It should not be, but it was. And why did he do that? Because his friend Daniel was in trouble, and he wanted to ensure that he petitioned God that Daniel would be saved. It says, then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the dens of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God who does service continually able to deliver thee from the lions? He longed to hear the voice of his friend from the pit where those lions were. And you know what? God will not disappoint. God will not disappoint. So then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. Those must have been some of the most beautiful words that that king ever heard, because he then knew that those lions were unable to consume Daniel, a true man of God. Verse 22 says, my God had sent his angel and had shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me. So you see, God sent an angel to close the lion's mouth. But there's a reason for it, and that's what I want you to hear this morning. There's a reason for it, and we'll come to the reason. Because we must forever keep these things in our heart. This is a verse that I have stumbled upon. God has shown me, and I have never forgotten. I have never forgotten it. And it says, for as much as before him, innocency was found in me. That's one. He was innocent. For as much as before him, innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Two things. He did not disrespect the king, and he did not do wrong. Those were the reasons why God saved Daniel. And I want you to remember that this word may be for you today. You may be going through strife. You may be going through struggles. But be true to God. Do not sin in these moments, and God is going to deliver you. It is known that the devil wants to take us for granted. He wants to make us a laughing stock. He wants to make us think that we're losing. But we're not losing, because our reward is in heaven. Be like Daniel. Be innocent and don't sin against God nor man. And if we can sustain that, we will truly get our reward in heaven.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna.
When working with sheetrock, you need screws that give you quick penetration for a speedy, stable installation. Best Screws, fast frame and fast finish drywall screws are specifically designed for you. Engineered by Best Manufacturing, Best Screws makes every job faster and easier. These screws offer reliable performance with a superior hold. You also save money due to Best Screws affordability. They are cheaper than the leading brands. Get the job done quickly without compromising on strength. For all your drywall installations, get Best Screws Fast Frame and Fast Finish. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Infrastructure that impacts lives, provides opportunities, and enables the growth of communities and country. That has been the constant mission of the MIDH. The upgrading of the Guinea Grass Road has forged a vital link between the vibrant and productive communities of Shipyard, Guinea Grass, and the rest of Belize, which allows the smooth movement of goods and services. The transformation provided by meaningful infrastructure is very real.
We had really been struggling to transport these hoses on these roads, right? Since we have all the holes on the roads and stuff like that. We do not have that issue anymore, right? So now when we are delivering our hose, it comes to its location in a 100% complete product, right?
Before this highway came into place, this Tower Hill to Guinea Grass highway, there was a lot of bad things going on in terms of the road. It was bad. Potholes when it used to rain. People used to take a long time to come out and come into the village. And even teachers who are teaching here who have to commute find it very difficult to do their traveling every day.
Una gran diferencia, gran diferencia. En el tiempo que estaba la carretera, que no estaba pavimentada, era demasiado polvo, demasiado. Y era como más despacio, andabas como más lento porque pues no podías ir rápido. Pero ahorita es un gran beneficio, la mera verdad es, yo creo que es lo mejor que el gobierno ha hecho. Yo estoy muy feliz, muy alegre con ello.
Well, now with this highway, now we have a lot of people, traversing the village. And our people in our village who have a small business like fast food, they're benefiting from that, no? Because people stop there in the morning, have their breakfast, and they go and continue their business.
Have business been increasing? Definitely, yeah. We have realized like when it comes to our customers, right? So like we do not have the problems anymore that customer would say if they would call in, okay, where are you located, right? And I would say, we're located entrance of Shipyard. And then they would say, okay, we have to travel the bad road or whatever. So that's not a question anymore.
In the past, I believe these students used to struggle, meaning going on the bus or traveling on pickup, and it took long, they reached late to their classes. But right now, the transportation is accessible and the highway is accessible. So from Guinea Grass to their destination, to Orange Rock, to the high schools in Orange Rock, it takes less time. Right now, I believe teachers, people smile because it only takes minutes to reach from Guinea Grass to Tower Hill.
Belize City, get ready for a safe and reliable e-taxi experience like never before. Building on the success of our e-ride bus service, we've heard your feedback, Belize City. We've seen your enthusiasm and how eagerly you've embraced zero-emission transportation in our community. Introducing the e-ride taxi, an electric taxi service, bringing you a cleaner, greener way to travel around our beautiful city. As part of the transformative Belize City e-ride program, this new service is another step toward modernizing our transportation system for a sustainable future. Looking to book your first e-ride taxi? It's super easy. First, download the Medriva app and register. Then, book your ride. Insert your pickup and drop-off location. Select e-ride, choose the number of occupants, and pick your preferred payment method. Confirm your ride and track your e-ride in real time as it makes its way to you. It's fast, eco-friendly, and designed for your comfort. So don't wait. Download Medriva today and let's drive Belize City towards a brighter, greener future, one e-ride at a time. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Flex Home Builders is the largest house building company in Belize. Pletz combines the best skilled workers, high-grade materials, and the latest technology to produce the highest quality wooden residential structures. Request any size, color, and the home layout you want. Choose from hardwood or painted metal outer walls. Pletz can modify any of their existing house plans to your satisfaction, complete with all the installation services you need anywhere in the country, including ambergris Cree. They can also lift your house to your desired height up to 9 feet. From properly treated and cured lumber to quality sidings and floorings, let Pletz Home Builders give your home the finish you need. For prices or questions, call 823-0398 or go to www.pletzhomebuilders.com. Pletz Home Builders, we build to suit your needs.
Oh, I wasn't having a bad day. I just needed...
It's here, the biggest sale of the year. Find your happy place at Builders Hardware with our happy sale from October 15th to December 31st. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, we got unbeatable prices that will put a big smile on your face. Freshen up your walls with 20% off all paints and 25% off paint supplies. Upgrade your space with 25% off lights, fans, AC, and a wide selection of tiles to match your style. Plus, enjoy 30 to 50% off selective items. But that's not all. We also sell sand and gravel, blocks, roofing, and more. Find everything you need from construction start to finish. Don't miss out on our happy deals. Shop today or explore our online store at shopbuildersbz.com. Visit Builders Hardware in Belmopan. This is your happy place.
Easy. Accessible. Safe. Yours. Digi Wallet. Easy, accessible, safe, yours.
Spice up your next event with professional lighting. Call 610-5679 and give your audience an experience they'll never forget. Proper stage lighting ensures stage visibility, motivates, and sets the mood of the atmosphere. We provide services for weddings, concerts, parties, dance recitals, and much more. Captivate your audience. Improve your production today. Call Shamax Productions at 610-5679 for quality and professional stage lighting.
Cyber Realty and Development is the leader in providing solutions to the current land crisis in Belize. For homeowners and investors alike, Cyber Realty is offering special deals on half-acre parcels in its new Emery Village development. Enjoy prime land off Mile 37 on the George Price Highway at an unbeatable price. All you need is the initial down payment of $275 Belize dollars. Take advantage and reserve your half-acre home sites today. Emery Village. Join the community. Invest in your future.
Mopping, tiles,
furniture, and...
Miss, you don't need all of this, man. Only this you need. You make 4 out of this. And it's cheaper than all of them put together.
I want it.
Green Clean, all your cleaning needs in one bottle. Do you enjoy learning and wanting to know more about Christ your Savior? Then join Phil Sanders in Search of the Lord's Ways every Sunday 7:30 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. on PlusTV for half an hour of beautiful hymns and Bible messages. Messages are repeated on Tuesdays at 1:30 and Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Search in the Word for God's will. Know more and do more for the God we love. In Search of the Lord's Ways with Phil Sanders is being brought to you by the Church of Christ in your area. Be sure to visit.
I'm coming back to your heart.
Foundations. Your work must be grounded upon solid rock, and so should your faith. Join Pastor Louis Wade Jr. weekly for Foundations Bible Study, where he goes deep into the Word of God with biblical teachings for better understanding.
A person might have potential inside of them, a desire to fulfill something, but the word of the Lord can bring that out of a person. Amen? So in the case of Gideon, though he felt that he could not do it, God had designated for him to do it. And so when God spoke the word through the angel, Gideon became who God knew he was all along.
Tune in on PlusTV Sundays for a new program or catch the repeats. We would love to hear from you. Write in and share your thoughts, prayer requests, or even post questions you may have regarding the Bible passages. Foundations. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go?
Another edition of Rise and Shine. It is a beautiful Thursday morning. It is the 13th of November. Thank you so much for joining us, and we are live. Well, it looks like that cold front pushed indeed some water our way, but if I'm saying it is snow because of some finely cold, and even if you could call them drops, I don't know what you could call them, drizzle, but it's a beautiful day. Every day we give God thanks that He wakes us up. It's a beautiful day. We give Him thanks for the air that we breathe. You know, sometimes we take health for granted, we take life for granted. Sometimes it's only when maybe sickness comes down or we have some major problem that we realize how much we take for granted. And so start your day giving God thanks. Start your day asking Him to bless your day and that His will may be done in your life. It's Thursday morning, so Pastor Scott Sturm is here with me, and he was here yesterday as well.
That's
Scott.
Right. That's right. We had a good show yesterday, Louis.
Yes.
Good morning, Belize. Happy to be with you. Louis, I stepped out this morning and I slipped on the ice on my front driveway, right? So I decided to go ahead and put on a long sleeve shirt, and just because things are getting a little bit cool. But yep, I don't mind the rain once the wind and the hurricanes stay far, far, far away. So keep praying for our friends in Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, everybody that took the lick on Hurricane Melissa. That was no joke. That was rough, and could have been worse, but it wasn't. And so we give God thanks for that. But we've got friends over there in Jamaica right now that are working in Samaritan Purse Hospital that they set up. You've probably seen the temporary hospital that they set up, and so anyways, if I was able to drop everything, Lewis, I would go over there. Every hurricane we've responded to as much as we can, the ones that are closer to us and in our area, and so I would honestly say we specialize in some of those areas, and so got to meet a bunch of new friends who are now family in Belize City from being able to help them get their roofs on after Lisa and Mitch and Keith and Iris and all the others, right? And so anyways, let's keep praying for our friends in Jamaica.
Yeah, well, our annual harvest Thanksgiving this year, again, we asked people to come and bring non-perishables. And so I think we have quite a few boxes. Now we have to find transport. I know it's preferable to send money, but I understand that even resources are scarce on the island.
That's right.
So sending resources is difficult, but sending money is as difficult in the sense that they won't be able to turn it over into food, etc. And so we're just collecting more and then trusting that the Lord will open an opportunity for us to send over some resources.
Yeah.
But we can pray and then we can act. There are organizations that are credible that are now opening up. So if we can't send the resources, we will probably just have one huge fire sale and then take the cash and send it over.
Yeah.
But I think we could start with what we can do, which is resources and non-perishables at this time. And then if we can't get transport, then convert it.
When Mitch came, everybody remembers that was what, 98, and but hop, skip, and a jump right there to Honduras, small cargo plane, and we were able to get all kind of stuff. I mean, we had bags and bags of clothes and stuff like that, and plus food and all that. But Jamaica's it's a different ball game. It's a good shot farther at getting cargo, and so I think probably one of the best places would be fill in a container with metal roofing and all that kind of stuff and get that over. But even that's a long shot.
I was watching development, housing development era that was just a couple of years old, and the people said, we bought extra water and we bought extra groceries. So that's how we prepare for hurricanes, especially if you believe you are in a new house. And they talked about all the rafters were supposed to have the hurricane clips and so on. And
but I saw, I'm a builder, and I saw the aerial view of many of those houses that were destroyed, and it's like that close to the water in Hurricane Alley. Those houses should have never been built like that. That you could see their wooden walls, and you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah, but I saw. The lady was saying when they toured the cameras through the house that many of the rafters were not strapped with hurricane straps, and the roofs just blew off.
Category 5 with lumber, a hurricane strap isn't going to help
still
you.
bust up the hurricane.
There's so much force lifting up. When you have a concrete house with a concrete belt beam, and then you put these iron bars into that concrete that have a zigzag on the bottom, and that's sticking up, and your rafters bolted onto that will stay, right? And so
it shows then that before that hurricane, long before, at the point in time when you are building that house, that's when you have to think about category 3, category 4, category 5, all the way at the beginning.
You have have to. It's not if you're going to get a hurricane, it's when. I think it was Hurricane Richard, yes, that came through our area, and some of the houses in Belmopan, some of the new areas where they built houses, they had concrete belt beam around the top, but they didn't put the iron thing. They put a board on top and nailed it on with cement nails, and then put the rafter, and of course the whole roof is going to go, right? But and the crazy thing, one of those iron bars costs about $5 or $6. That's all. And you put those around the house and you're set, you know. And so anyways, it was sad for me to see, I think Black River area, St. Elizabeth. Yes. And the aerial view, and you could see all these wood houses that were just demolished. So I hope that they go back with a different plan. But like, as you're saying, okay, everybody and their uncle wants cement blocks, you know, like, no cement blocks today, right? So you're going to have to do something, you know, different. But just, we got to pray and then do everything we can to be able to help.
I was watching too that there are locations in Jamaica where the water is rising. And this is 2 weeks after.
Yep.
So it appears that some of the areas are limestone or karst. And so there are these underground rivers or underground water. I guess that's how we dig down and find wells. Right. And I guess, but what they're saying is that so much rain in such a short time that some of these now underground rivers that would keep the water off the actual surface, that they are so full and backed up, and then development and roads and all of these things, that water is rising in some areas. So I was watching videos of that. I mean, this is 2 weeks later that so many people, and these were areas that the hurricane wind and the water action did not affect them. Right. But now, 2 weeks later, flooding is affecting them, not from rain, but water just coming up out of the ground and rising.
They were already wet before the hurricane came, right? And so, anyways, it's very, very tough. It's an engineer's nightmare. It's emergency management nightmare, and so Lord have mercy.
Yes,
but
so we're coming down to the end of November. At least we're coming halfway through November, and November marks the end of hurricane season. Let me just give the weather report. Yeah, it says general situation is moist and unstable conditions prevailing over the area. Expect cloudy to overcast skies in the next 24 hours with periods of light to moderate rain, with embedded heavy showers likely continuing mostly over the northern areas this morning. Activity will slightly increase over the country, especially northern and central areas this afternoon, and tonight isolated thunderstorms are possible. Marine conditions, winds are blowing from the north to northwest at 5 to 15 knots with sea moderate and waves 4 to 6 feet. Inland temperatures, that's our general area, 80 degrees Fahrenheit with the low as 67. On the coast, 78 degrees. It's going to be kind of cool on the coast with 70 degrees as the low. And in the hills, 69 will be the high with 60 as the low. Outlook for Friday and Friday night, skies will be mostly cloudy with periods of rainfall, and a few showers and isolated thunderstorms are possible across the country, especially over northern and central areas. So that sounds to me like today and tomorrow, more rain.
One big cloud over Belize,
more rain,
right?
more rain.
And so anyways, we've actually had a very, very light rainy season. So when you talk about water table and stuff, we probably could use, you know, some of this rain. We're okay, but we could use some more, yes, because when dry season comes, that's when you realize, oh shucks, that thing never full up properly, and so everything goes down. But like I said, once we keep the hurricanes away, I'm happy, and so yes, we're almost to the end, and you know.
I'm glad.
Keep our, I was going to say cross your fingers, but I don't believe in that, right? Keep our prayers and our faith up, right? And, yeah.
Well, before we get into the main conversations for today, our church, together with Pastor Pitts, are having our second annual men's gathering. We had our first men's gathering last year, and it was really a wonderful time of worship and praise and the word. And we sat and had fellowship together. Hello? Yeah, we sat and had fellowship together. And tomorrow night, last night was the registration, Scott, but I think we reserved a couple spaces just for people who didn't get the word and want to be there. But you can take a little picture of that square that you see there, and it should open up a link where you can register. And so I think we are at 100 or very, very close to 100 when I checked this morning, and I think we can still have a few over 100. This is registering for the dinner at 6 p.m. 7:30. Anyone can still come. Men can still come. Yes, there's
space allowing.
Yes, that's true.
We'll have to be inside, right?
We'll have to be inside. We have a large tent too, which is maybe we'll put some tables there. Hopefully, the Lord will grace us with a little bit better weather. But we can put the tables inside too, and then remove them after to have the time of praise and worship. I'm praying that this continues to be an annual event that we could
very much
do to encourage men.
The need is tremendous, Louis.
Great.
That you made a Facebook post a little while back about the need for socialization skills, particularly for our young men, right? And what happens is when fathers aren't there, and we were talking about this yesterday, for us as men and the challenges that we face and how difficult it is when there hasn't been that male role model there, right? And or if there is one there, is not necessarily a good role model. Is actually role modeling something bad. And when we were talking about domestic violence and all of that, but it's so important, like, men, how are you going to get that into your life? And it's gonna have to come through somebody else. If you haven't had a father in your life, you need to look for and latch on to other men that can be like a spiritual father in your life and be able to help speak those things, into your life, help you to be able to grow and change, help you to learn the ways of God, to where things can get changed in your heart and in your mind. And so everything begins with a thought, and it also begins with values. What do you want for your life? What kind of person do you want to be? And so the way that's going to come is through other men, and that comes through these times like what we're doing tomorrow night. And so anyways, I want to encourage all the men in our area, and even if you're not in our area, you could jump in the vehicle. Just please be careful on the road, and come tomorrow night. I know it's going to be a wonderful and powerful time. We're bringing our men, and so our young men. Don't say bye and all that and all that mind stuff. Well, you are turning into a man. You are a young man, and so teenagers, yes, we need you there. Yes. You need to start to catch that vision. You are old enough to start making decisions right now that can affect you for the rest of your life. And Louis, I'm so glad I gave my heart to the Lord when I was 17. And I did have a good role model with my dad, even though he was an alcoholic before he gave his heart to the Lord. And but God changed and He healed our whole family. My parents were in the middle of a divorce when I gave my heart to the Lord. My dad gave his heart to the Lord, and then that spread through our whole family. He healed our family, and here we were, after being torn apart limb for limb, Louis, here we were, every Sunday going to church together, and then coming home for Sunday dinner or going out for Sunday dinner or whatever. But God healed our family, and I am like eternally grateful, but it's changed my life. So if you're a young man, I want to encourage you, like, get there, catch some of these values, right? Because it'll start to put seeds in your heart that will sprout and grow into you becoming a wonderful man of responsibility, a man of honor, a man of respect, a good husband, a good father, a good leader in the community, making a difference.
Amen. Amen. Scott, very proud of my son. The story that we are about to talk about is something that he pressed on because he asked me about the smell that was taking place around the, and I was like, yeah, it's a pumping station. You know, there's a vent that takes the smell all the way up, but on cold days, the air is heavy. I had a whole scientific...
When it freezes in the pipes, right?
Yeah. I had a whole scientific reason to why it might smell bad on cold days.
And they were wrong.
It's
not a scientific reason, it's a mechanical reason, right?
Yeah. So, grateful that he and my wife Shasta, and the workers, of course, I have the opportunity to do other things like the Senate work and work with the guys from Hope Center, formerly Hedges, because they are doing such an awesome job in keeping things running here.
Yeah. And I'm very happy to see LJ, stepping forward, and so
married 3 years now.
Yes.
His wedding anniversary. Yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yes.
Very good. And which turned you into a grandpa also, right?
Yeah,
and
super happy.
That's right.
About that.
But to see him producing these news stories, and I'm very proud of him as well, and it makes me happy when I hear his voice on those news stories.
It's so true, yeah. And then he collaborates with Love FM, and so that's helping Love FM and helping us as well. But I want to run the story because this is a story that we need to discuss, and also it's very interesting when we talk about capitalism and government. We see Mandame in the US, and this thing where should government monitor and facilitate, and should government own? Because when government owns and government is there to also regulate, how does that work on an issue like sewage pouring into the river? So let's take a look at this story here on Rise and Shine from Plus News.
Residents of the capital have been complaining about a foul odor coming from this area on the East Ring Road of Belmopan. The smell of sewage can be traced to here, the Bullfrog Wastewater Lift Station, which is owned, operated, and managed by the Belize Water Services Limited. As you can see, untreated sewage water is leaking from the water lift station, which is the main cause of the high smell of feces in the area. The leak can be attributed to faulty pumps within the water lift station that BWS has been aware of for months, but we'll get back to that. Now, the smell. The smell is not confined to just this area. Following the natural path of the drainage system, it led me here to a residential area in Salvapan, where, according to the residents, they've been dealing with the pungent odor for years.
I don't know if that's sewage or something else, but the water is coming from way up, like 99 down, and it's really stink.
And is it every day or?
It's most every day. Maybe we have one day for the week, we don't have it, but most every day. Every day.
The only difficult thing is that the drain, like we have some bad smell from the drain mostly at the time, like when it rain hard and the water they run, like it smells very bad. Sometimes we even go out of the yard because out there because the latter is stink. It got lot of bad smell. This drain they have, and since we can live here, well, when we just can live here, you never had that strong smell, but now, yes, I don't know what's happening.
Now, what's the cause of the overflowing of untreated sewer water leaking into the capital's drainage system? According to our sources, each water lift station is retrofitted with 2 pumps that should take hourly shifts in sending sewage to the water treatment plant, but for the past few months, one of the pumps stopped working, leaving the lone pump to become overworked and leaving room for sewage to leave the station and enter the drainage system. And now that I've shown you how the sewage water ends up in the drain that flows in a residential area of Salpapan, one question remains. Where does the drain lead to? Unfortunately, a creek. The Mount Pleasant Creek, to be exact. You can see here where the brown, mucky sewage water meets the clean creek water, continues to flow downstream, where, according to residents, a number of persons bathe and even wash their clothes. The Mount Pleasant Creek even flows beside the St. Martin's Government Primary School, not too far from the point of contamination. We reached out to the Department of the Environment but didn't get a response. We also reached out to BWS, which, in an official response, told us, and we quote, under normal conditions, wastewater from the Bullfrog Lift Station is conveyed to the Belmopan treatment plant, where it undergoes full treatment and safe disposal in accordance with environmental standards. The response goes on to state that BWS is investing approximately $250,000 to fix the solution and that works should be completed in the coming weeks. When we stopped by today, we noticed personnel pumping out the wastewater lift station. We'll keep following this story. Reporting for Plus News, LJ Wade.
If that story ever run, that sewage may just continue to just go into the Mount Pleasant Creek without BWS doing anything about it. Yeah. Because from the fact that the people in that community are saying that for years and months that sewage has been going, that should garner charges, high charges for pumping raw sewage into Mount Pleasant Creek.
That's right. And where's the Department of the Environment?
Can't even answer.
Can't even get an answer. And then if BWS has been aware of it, for months, and so but again, when the residents say years, this has been going on. So maybe there's been some consistent problems where it's on and off, on and off, on and off, whatever. But it sounds like it's a problem that needs to be fixed, right?
Well, the thing is that so where PlusTV is located, the lift station is about quarter of a mile from here, and so above us, about quarter mile above us, it is going into the Mount Pleasant Creek at that point. So from there, it's coming down the creek, and people swim in the area of the creek below, because it gets a little deeper at that point. And then Mount Pleasant Creek moves down to the J and W subdivision, which is where that new bridge is. And there is a area which goes off-road, almost like a ramp. It's not cemented, but so many trucks go to pull water from that location, either for animal use to sprinkle on the roads when they are building new roads. There are several potable water trucks that go there, and that is downstream. And that's why I believe that we need
in other words, that is not potable water. When you're pulling from a creek that has sewage in it. And so
raw sewage.
And again, this should be full red alert, Lewis. There should be signs placed along the creek. This is not safe or whatever. And it's like, what are we doing? Yeah. So it's I think it's good.
Sprinkle that on the water, then the sun come beat that, and all the germs they go into the air. All the men there where they work on those roads, the vehicles that are passing on the roads, germs. And I want to hear from the Department of Environment what they're going to do in regards to penalties for BWSL for this massive months of, because they're supposed to be past the one day smell the smell and know something wrong. Yeah, are they not monitoring their pumps? Their pumps, sorry, you were going to say.
Well, no, I was just going to say it creates a problem because it's a domino effect, like what you're talking about, right? But the thing needs to be fixed. But what I was going to say is I'm glad that this burst into the media. I find it very sad that many times with all kind of different situations, nobody takes action until it goes public into the media, which speaks to me loudly that we don't really believe at a core heart value in the actual thing. What we really believe is no make we look bad, right? Once it goes out to the media and then we start to look bad, then we take action. That means we don't really believe in guarding and protecting this, right? We don't believe in environmental, protection and this and that. We don't believe in safeguarding people, right? If we did, we would step on it immediately, like this is full red alert.
Then say sorry for the inconvenience. That is not an inconvenience. You are leaking sewage into the waterways, because then from Mount Pleasant it goes into the Belize River.
That's right.
So this is not a small matter, and Department of Environment needs to answer. They should have been in the area already. They should have been doing tests with those water to see what kind of E. coli or anything else that is there, and they should have been running public statements to the community saying do not drink the water, do not go in the water, do not. All of those things are absent. So if Department of Environment cannot even pick up the phone and answer the requests from the media, they have not done anything as yet as it relates to the public. And so we want to start that here, to just tell the city of Belmopan, we are here to tell the city of Belmopan, don't get into that water, do not use that water, do not wash your clothes with that water, because washing your clothes means that thing gets whatever germs and so on, and it has to be, because it's raw sewage. The purpose of the lift pumps is to move the sewage along so that it eventually reaches the treatment station, which is behind Kuhun Walk and close to the property. We talked about this, the property that is going to be the hospital, the tertiary care hospital for Belize. And here we go again, here we go again, because there was this big propaganda that BWSL and the government made regarding the fact that everything is in order and that all those mechanisms are in proper working order and will not affect hospital. You see, no, Scott? Yeah. Here you have BWSL not even knowing and not doing anything about an environmental problem. Within 24 hours of a fuel leak in Placencia, the Department of Environment was already there, already making statements and talking about where the oil leak did and did not come from. But you see, that's the Department of Environment as a government entity and the gas station or the motorboats being private. Here now, we have government to government, where they can't even answer the phone. And that is a problem. It is a problem when government owns and government regulates. So these are things that we need to watch, including legislation where government is saying, oh, because we are running this, then with no taxes,
everything will be fine.
Yes.
And it won't, right?
So that's why I really wanted to highlight this story. Number one, there is a health hazard right in the capital city with raw sewage going into the Mount Pleasant Creek. The Department of Environment has said nothing, and this is not, that story aired last night. This story he has been working on at least since Monday, because yesterday is Wednesday. So that was sufficient time for a dead machine to come alive.
Yep.
And I also believe that saying sorry for the inconvenience and please bear with us for the next 2 weeks is unacceptable from BWSL as well.
Yep, something needs to happen, Louis. Yeah. And so if that means if that pump motor is out, burned out, or whatever, then is that the flow that can't be pumped through and it is draining out into the drain? I would assume most likely, or it's either it's a percentage or it might be the full amount. But what do you do? I mean, you have to cap that pipe and find some other way to get that out, pump that into a tank truck or whatever. But like, I think the main thing is get another pump ASAP, you know, get somebody to drive one down through Mexico or something, like we need it from yesterday, right? But it's one of the downsides of bureaucracy, of just the way things drag their feet. And well, we have to do a voucher, and then from the voucher you requisition, and then we have to and it takes you weeks just to be able to place the order type thing, right? Like, I think this is kind of an emergency type situation where it needs to step. That's why I say full red alert. And so if the fact that if people can smell it, that means particles are in the air.
And I wonder too why there's a pipe in the cement that's the water is not bubbling up through. There's a pipe, Scott.
Yeah.
which means that it's planned in a way.
It's connected to the sewage. It's right. It's connected to the sewage. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything else that could come through. There's no water runoff or whatever, right? And so yes, it's. I would say that's a planning error.
Right there, yeah, exactly. Look at that. See there. Yeah. Let's put a pipe here.
Yeah.
So
just in case.
Yeah. So. You know, so it's good to hear that. I think that towards the end of this, man, not good at all.
Yeah.
That should never be. That should never be, because we find FINE restaurants that take their water from just the cooking oil in the kitchen, and we fine them for that. Here BWSL has an outlet for raw sewage. This is terrible, Belize, and something needs to be done. Now they're all lining up right now, all lining up to increase rates. You hear them? Lining up to increase rates, and trying to explain why electricity needs to go up and all of these things need to go up. Belizeans pay among the highest electricity rates in Central America. And one of the government senators, when I said it, and he made his comments in the last meeting, his notes had said we are among the lowest in the Caribbean. So I call that games.
Yeah.
Because the Caribbean are islands.
That's right.
But Belize, though we are in the Caribbean, we are a mainland country.
That's right.
So we do not have the logistical hurdles that islands have.
That's right.
And so we are not to be compared with the Caribbean. We are to be compared with mainland countries like Mexico, Guatemala, Salvador, Honduras, etc., because we are on the mainland with access to fuel at a more affordable rate as it relates to transportation than some of these small country islands. And so we are paying 42 cents. And some businesses are paying more because we have a slidable rate. And Mexico is paying the least. And the reason why Mexico is paying the least is because it is an oil producing country, so they're still using generators. And generator is a more efficient, economical way of generating
when you're a petroleum producing country, yes.
Right, you see? So Belize doesn't want to look for oil, And then we have selected the most costly way to generate electricity because we want renewable alternative energy like wind and solar and dams, etc. And our rates are high because you can't have it both ways. We can choose to be clean as it relates to energy, but we clearly cannot afford it.
Yeah.
We cannot afford it. So we need to have more petroleum generating so that it brings down the cost of electricity, because no investor or only a few investors will be interested in investing in Belize when the electricity is so high. So I think that's why there are resorts, because these resorts can generate their own electricity. And then what are they doing? They're bringing in generators and generating electricity.
That's right.
So that they can carry down their, so it's still come up to the same thing, because
I know some of them that have a creek on their property, and they have their own hydroelectric.
Yes.
You know, and so I love hydroelectric. I love water passing through and turning creating electricity, right? But you know, Mexico actually has at least in our area that would source Belize is they have some nuclear power plants also, which is one of their factors. But yes. From I've driven down through Mexico numerous times, and there's a couple of nuclear power plants. But at the same time, Mexico has put Belize on notice because they have their own electrical problems, you know, and so as your nation prospers and everybody gets more air conditioners and this and that, and then in the hot times, you know, then throw that circuit breaker on Belize, like we need for cover ourselves, right? So anyways,
I was in Chatamal the last time when the lights in Chatamal did this, and they came on back immediately, just like that. And then like text began coming, blackout in Belize.
Yes. Yep, somebody threw the circuit breaker.
That's what happened.
And anyways, it's a bigger issue for the whole region. But you're exactly right, Louis. You know, when you're talking about island countries, like if they're running generators, you have to get the fuel there, you know, plus running the generators and all that. But we are in a very awkward situation in that, like as you rightly said, we pay some of the highest prices in our region.
We absolutely do.
And so I think we definitely have room for improvement, right? Yeah. So we're not here to solve all of the technical problems, but at the same time, as consumers on the receiving end, we can tell there's a problem, you know? And so when the current goes out for us, you know, and I go and I start watching, I look on Facebook and people in PG saying, our current's gone, you know, people in Cayo, our current gone, people in Belize City, okay, this is nationwide. The circuit breaker got tripped, so.
And so that's why, you know, the government, in a sense, has been forced to purchase Fortis, and I don't know if they would agree with me that it's forced, but they have decided, the government has decided to purchase Fortis shares and then BEL shares, which is why, like my first instinct was, no, we want private investors.
I remember
keep it in the private.
I remember when we went through this wave of privatizing everything, and this is good. We're privatizing, right? And then and now they come back around. Yeah. This is good. We're taking control of these areas, and I'm like going. So and you remember when Syed Musa promised us that with the hydroelectric dams, the price of electricity would come down, right? Nobody said anything. It's going to take 50 years to pay for the damn things, right?
Not only that, but I at the Senate, in one of my speeches on the same electrical thing, I showed them that on the day they were cutting the ribbon for was it Chalio or what the day. They were cutting, because there are three of them, but on the day they were cutting the ribbon, Lin Young was announcing increase in rates. Yeah. So so to bill it, then they say it will be cheaper but even at the cutting of the ribbon, they were, and I spoke up his exact words. You see, so it's games, but at least the government said in this particular instance that they will be purchasing it, but then reselling shares. So because I think it's good that Belizeans could buy shares, because that has worked well as it relates to BTL. Right. I could remember many years ago my parents purchasing shares. It's had its up and down, but Belizeans have shares in that company. So, but the question is how much of those shares can really be absorbed within the country. But I prefer when companies are privately operated as opposed to government or quasi-government, because a case in point right here, as I'm saying with the sewage, when things go wrong, the government is hesitant or afraid to call out the government.
Because they're calling out themselves.
Yeah, left hand to right hand. So the Department of Environment, so even where you have PUC involved, it's better for PUC to regulate a private company than to regulate a government-owned company.
Because you get all kind of mixed motives bouncing around.
And this is the problem with socialism.
Yep.
I'm not. It's like we're trying all these quasi thing where you are correct when you say we move from public to private public to all of and then all of a sudden you have smart and next gen and Centaur lining up to try to sell back this big entity BTL, to sell out the companies, and then here we are as Belizeans saying, "Hey, no, no."
And the whole reason why those were started is because competition keeps the market pure. Yeah. There was a monopoly, and it's like, no, we can't have this. And so there's an opportunity to start this new thing, and then whatever.
Trying to sell us again why monopoly is
that's
good.
Right. That's right. So here we are back to the hydroelectric dam is going to lower the price of electricity, and so they're playing games and selling stories.
Yeah, so what we have here is this capitalism versus socialism. That's really what we have, because when you have a guy like Mandami in New York making a statement like government should own the means of production. That was his exact words. He didn't say it in the campaign, but they pulled up his files to show you what his philosophy is. And then in his victory speech, he said there is no problem too big that government cannot fix.
That's right.
Exact words.
That's right.
There is no problem too big that government cannot fix. And I was like to myself, I don't know, but it looks to me that governments create problems they cannot fix.
Ask North Korea about that. You know, they can't fix their problems, right? But Louis, a lot of people, maybe in such a short time, we've become so far removed from the socialism, communism thing, right? But in the communist bloc countries, you know, during Cold War and all that, in those countries, everything is owned by the government. The government owns the automobile factory, they own the bread factory, they own everything, and everybody works for the government. And then that's why you wind up in Cuba with, you know, a doctor that makes $40 a month, you know, and a taxi driver makes $40 a month. The reason why is because in communism, everybody's supposed to be equal. Then you get Mamdani coming in talking about free education, you know, all the way up to university and this and that and that. All of that's going to be paid for. And it's like, who's going to pay for this, right? And if you don't have fruitful capitalist business ventures that are paying taxes into the system, right? And so who's going to pay for this? Yeah. And it's selling a pipe dream. And then when everything crashes down, then yes, government seizes and takes control.
Yeah. I watched a meme. I did not know the name of the individual who said the statement, but he said the problem with socialists is they do not understand economics, because if they did, they would not be socialists.
That's right.
they do not understand economics, because if they did, and I was watching with my wife when Mandame was talking about a rent freeze. This is government forcing owners of properties to not determine how much they can charge on an investment when they, the owner, are the one will know how much they borrow, where they borrow it from, how long it takes them for bill, who are they still owe, what are their monthly payment to the bank. Mandame cares not about all of those things.
That's right.
When he talks about a wage freeze. And I was laughing and I tell my wife, I said, look at the amount of people that buy his nonsense, when the truth is that if you want to reduce the cost of housing or the cost of rental, it is to provide more units. It is to build more homes. That when you build more homes and you don't have that pressure for a small amount of apartments, when you have more options, then people have more options to choose for, and you stabilize the price. So the increased pricing in New York is not about greed. It is not greed. It is that it's available.
It's what's called the law of supply and demand. Okay. So when mangoes are first coming, the first trees those mangoes are very expensive. Why? Because there's not so much supply. But then when the thing blossoms, right, and mangoes are everywhere, you could get a whole bucket for $10, right? Yeah. And so when the supply is high, you know, then the price goes down. When the supply is low, the price goes up. That's called the law of supply and demand. So if your housing is too high in this area, then people are going to move into other areas, and then people don't have anybody to rent those places. Say we have to bring the prices down. See, and when you start to tamper with that, you know, and you start, you're putting your hand on the scale to try to balance this thing, and it starts to mess up everything.
Socialism.
Yes.
And then when countries like Venezuela practice socialism and they begin to fail because socialism fails, then they blame America. Yeah. And all the socialists blame America, and it's the same problem with Cuba that can't even pick up its garbage right now. So garbage is all on the street in the street corners of Havana.
America's fault they can't pick up their
America's
garbage.
fault. Why they can't pick up their garbage? Imagine America when they, that's why I said they don't understand economics, because you imagine that there are only a few mangoes available, and your mango tree is one of the mango trees that's producing. So here's a great opportunity for you to make some money, because maybe you're not making money in another area. There's so many reasons. There's so many things that government don't know that's happening. So you glad that you are one of the ones that your tree bear, and then government will come and say you must sell your mango for 10 cents each, because people out there want to eat cheap mango. Yeah. This is socialism. Yeah. That socialism has to be backed up by the army, backed up by the police. Right. And you see it in every single case, and you still have people out there. Scott, it's in the schools, it's in the minds of our students. Yeah. That they don't understand capitalism and economics anymore, and they are socialists. They're socialists, not understanding that they are empowering government to use the army against them, because socialism is the opposite of free enterprise. Free enterprise is by your ability, by your merit. Meanwhile, socialism has to be by force. Has to be by force.
Right. That's right. Louis, look back a couple years, couple decades to China. China was a very large, very poor communist country. The government owned everything. It's still a communist country, but they tweaked a couple of things. They allowed for personal ownership of companies. They allowed people to be able to make money. Those that managed well made big money. I'm sure they had to pay their dues to the Communist Party and all this kind of stuff, right? But because they still control an awful lot. But China would not be where they're at today, and there would not be Chinese products everywhere all over the world, except that they allowed for that personal gain. They allowed for a modified capitalist system within a communist control system.
And say something against the Chinese government. Be a Chinese.
That's right.
And say something against the Chinese.
They'll run over you with a tank, right?
They're to have this conversation in China.
Yes. And so,
or Venezuela.
And because their whole internet, everything, Louis, is censored and controlled. Yes. So because it's still communist, right? And so, but what I'm saying is, they would be probably more than 1 billion people and poverty with some serious problems, because that philosophy does not work, right? And so anyways, all of that just to say, here we are in this strange place in 2025 where people are believing these crazy things. And then when we start talking about DEI and we start moving away from merit and people's ability, right? You're talking about regulation that's going to do, it's socialist in that same exact way. And then when you start moving away from people having the abilities to perform and perform well, right? And so then you get a whole bunch of people that cannot perform well, but then they get these jobs because it's mandated or whatever, because the government has control. Everything just starts to go cattywampus, Louis. Yeah. And so I had a university.
What's a doctor making $40 a month along with a taxi driver? What's the doctor going to do first opportunity he has? He's going to bail and go to a country. Exactly. He will go to a country where he can be paid for merit for what he worked for. And so that's how you get brain drain, and that's how you get a Cuba and a Venezuela. Then they make comments like America is like manipulating the oil that Venezuela is doing, so Venezuela don't have no money. That's a lie. It's brain drain that happened to them because the engineers, the software people, the hardware people, all of the people who are skilled in petroleum in Venezuela left the country because they were not being adequately paid. Yeah. And so they went to other countries that will respect what they paid. You were going to say.
I was just going to say, this thing on the laws of supply and demand in university. In economics, this professor explained it really well. He said, what if you don't believe in the laws of supply and demand, right? You're gonna go live back in the bush, right? No electricity, no nothing. You're gonna catch your food, you're gonna live back in the bush. When it's time to light your fire, you have to go get some firewood, right? Next time you have to get some more firewood, you have to go a little bit farther to get the firewood, right? And after about 6 months, you're gonna have to go farther. What happens? The firewood starts to become more expensive with your time. And so here you are out in the bush saying, no, I don't believe in the laws of supply and demand. And it's right there. Like, you cannot escape it, right? And so I believe it's one of the laws that God has built into the whole system. Like, it's natural law. You cannot defy it, right? And so anyways, all of that just to say, that's why we talk about the importance of character, the importance of becoming skilled, having that discipline and self-control and faithfulness and all this, to where you become an excellent worker, or better yet, an entrepreneur, where you're going to step forward and you're actually employing people, right? And when those things start to happen, and that's what builds a nation. Those companies pay taxes. All of us pay taxes. Everybody pays in taxes or whatever. And then when you have your middle class that are working and owning businesses and putting people to work, and then there's more taxes, and then the government, we wouldn't have to go get a grant or a loan to pave our roads, to fix our highways. We don't have to wait for another grant to fix the damaged metal railing along the side of the road. Like, there should be a warehouse with all of those railings there waiting for when, and then you just go fix it, right? But so anyways, we're on a rant that's touching a number of different areas, but I'm trying to put an exclamation point on character, discipline, goodness, honesty, faithfulness, vision, morals, values, family, all of these things, to where, and then you're passing those things on to your kids, right? And then your kids grow up strong. And what would our nation be like, Lewis, if we were cultivating well in that way? And I want to go there. It's not pie in the sky, it's reality. But it starts in hearts and minds, which is why we're here talking about these things. So
I'm very, very grateful for the government's reshuffle. And separate from the reshuffle, they have formed a committee looking at cost of living, which is the proper thing to do, because they have done 2 increase of salary, and they're claiming that they're going to do another one with minimum wage. And we've been saying that you cannot solve inflation by pumping money into the hands of people. That what is better is reduction in cost of living. Like you have, if you increase the money in the system, the money will go exactly where it is accustomed to going. And so the person who is the minimum wage earner, you get more money. More money is going to be sucked up by the system, because just by saying that you have more money, then you can now, there's more competition for the same resources. So the price of the resource goes up. The price of the resource doesn't go down. The price of the resource goes down when the demand, when the demand is low. But if the demand is high because you have more currency, then that price is just going to go up. And so when you are pushing more money into the system, all that money is just going out from the same pocket into the same pockets. And so it is better to not increase your salary in times like this when you want to control inflation. But what you need to do instead is to increase the supply of product. That's why Trump came in and said, we're gonna drill. Let's do more oil. Let's do more this. Let's put money in the productive sector. Bring out more eggs. Then that's what takes the price down. So you are reducing the cost of living. Cost of living is different than pay increase. And every time the unions and the workers and their pay increase, they still don't understand, Scott. Still a socialist mentality, thinking that by putting more money in the workers' pocket, things are going to get better. Not understanding that it just carries the inflation even higher, and your standard of living doesn't improve. But now the government is saying, we have this committee of ministers that will be looking specifically at reducing cost of living. And I'm like, yes, finally. Trusting that they do the right thing. One of the ways to reduce cost of living is reducing cost of electricity. That's one of the areas right there, because everybody uses electricity. Cost of fuel. There are things, because when you bring down the cost of fuel, that's same like more money in your pocket.
That's right.
It's same like more money in your pocket, and that's what the people want. When they ask for an increase of salary, when they ask for what they're really asking for is more money in their pocket. But it's better to create more money in your pocket from reducing the cost of living.
That's right.
That's why I say socialists don't understand economics, so they would not be socialists.
That's right.
And many of our unions have a socialist bent and mentality.
That's right.
So they think when they cost them out,
They know how to unload the wagon, Lewis, but they don't know how to load it back up, right?
You see?
That's the key.
So now the government is heading. So some shift happened. Some kind of shift happened either in the thinking or the opportunity, or they were planning it, I don't know. But I really absolutely appreciate the shift where Karim Musa has been stripped of both his ministries. New growth ministry has gone to agriculture, which is something that we were saying from the very beginning.
That's right.
That new growth, first of all, there's not even the need for a new growth industry because there's something called a department, it's a ministry of agriculture, but at least it becomes now a department under the Ministry of Agriculture, but it's under the minister. So that's a great move. And we had said that Minister Karim Musa cannot be both minister responsible for police and minister responsible for marijuana and new growth industry.
It's common sense, Louis.
Common sense.
And we actually had a triple conflict of interest because we had the Minister of Police, who was also the Minister of Marijuana, and also as a businessman had his hand on the profit side of that, and it's terrible. So, anyways, I share your sentiment. I'm glad that adjustment came, and so, anyways,
so we have a new Minister of Police, Henry Charles.
Yes,
lovely, absolutely
very,
amazing.
very happy about
Fully
that.
support that.
Yes. He's a good man. I got to know him as when he was Minister of Religious Affairs, and so I.
Now police can police now.
Yes, and so set things in order. And Louis, do we need to take a break?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we gotta give some time for our sponsors, the people that help keep us on the air, right?
We still gotta talk about this gambling bill.
That's right.
So let's take that break.
Right. All right, we'll be right back after this.
I think you're doing more as a son than I am over this.
That's why it takes a team, right? Especially when you.
Land of the coconut tree, I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef, I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place we ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree, I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef, I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace.
When working with sheetrock, you need screws that give you quick penetration for a speedy, stable installation. Best Screws, fast frame and fast finish drywall screws are specifically designed for you. Engineered by Best Manufacturing, Best Screws makes every job faster and easier. These screws offer reliable performance with a superior hold. You also save money due to Best Screws affordability. They are cheaper than the leading brands. Get the job done quickly without compromising on strength. For all your drywall installations, get Best Screws Fast Frame and Fast Finish. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Infrastructure that impacts lives, provides opportunities, and enables the growth of communities and country. That has been the constant mission of the MIDH. The upgrading of the Guinea Grass Road has forged a vital link between the vibrant and productive communities of Shipyard, Guinea Grass, and the rest of Belize, which allows the smooth movement of goods and services. The transformation provided by meaningful infrastructure is very real.
We had really been struggling to transport these hoses on these roads, right? Since we have all the potholes on the roads and stuff like that. We do not have that issue anymore, right? So now when we are delivering our hose, it comes to its location in a 100% complete product, right?
Before this highway came into place, this Tor Hill to Guinea Grass highway, there was a lot of bad things going on in terms of the road. It was bad, potholes when it used to rain. People used to take a long time to come out and come into the village. And even teachers who are teaching here who have to commute find it very difficult to do their traveling every day.
Una gran diferencia, gran diferencia. En el tiempo que estaba la carretera que no estaba pavimentada era demasiado polvo. demasiado. Y era como más despacio, andabas como más lento porque pues no podías ir rápido. Pero ahorita es un gran beneficio, la mera verdad es, yo creo que es lo mejor que el gobierno ha hecho. Yo estoy muy feliz, muy alegre con ello.
Well, now with this highway, now we have a lot of people, traversing the village. And our people in our village who have a small business like fast food, they're benefiting from that, no? Because people stop there in the morning, have their breakfast, and they go and continue their business.
Have business been increasing? Definitely. Yeah, we have realized like when it comes to our customers, right? So like we do not have the problems anymore that customer would say if they would call in, okay, where are you located, right? And I would say, you're located entrance of shipyard. And then they would say, okay, we have to travel the bad road or whatever. So that's not a question anymore.
In the past, I believe these students used to struggle, meaning going on the bus or traveling on pickup, and it took long, they reached late to their classes. But right now, the transportation is accessible and the highway is accessible. So from Guinea Grass to their destination, to Orange Rock, to the high schools in Orange Rock, it takes less time. Right now, I believe teachers, people smile because it only takes minutes to reach from Guinea Grass to Tora Hill.
Belize City, get ready for a safe and reliable e-taxi experience like never before. Building on the success of our e-ride bus service, we've heard your feedback, Belize City. We've seen your enthusiasm and how eagerly you've embraced zero-emission transportation in our community. Introducing the e-ride taxi, an electric taxi service, bringing you a cleaner, greener way to travel around our beautiful city. As part of the transformative Belize City e-ride program, this new service is another step toward modernizing our transportation system for a sustainable future. Looking to book your first e-ride taxi? It's super easy. First, download the Medriva app and register. Then, book your ride. Insert your pickup and drop-off location. Select e-ride, choose the number of occupants, and pick your preferred payment method. Confirm your ride and track your e-ride in real time as it makes its way to you. It's fast, eco-friendly, and designed for your comfort. So don't wait. Download Medriva today and let's drive Belize City towards a brighter, greener future, one e-ride at a time. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Pletz Home Builders is the largest house building company in Belize. Pletz combines the best skilled workers, high-grade materials, and the latest technology to produce the highest quality wooden residential structures. Request any size, color, and the home layout you want. Choose from hardwood or painted metal outer walls. Pletz can modify any of their existing house plans to your satisfaction, complete with all the installation services you need anywhere in the country, including ambergris Cree. They can also lift your house to your desired height up to 9 feet. From properly treated and cured lumber to quality sidings and floorings, let Pletz Home Builders give your home the finish you need. For prices or questions, call 823-0398 or go to www.pletzhomebuilders.com. Pletz Home Builders, we build to suit your needs.
Oh, I wasn't having a bad day. I just needed...
It's here, the biggest sale of the year. Find your happy place at Builders Hardware with our happy sale from October 15th to December 31st. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, we got unbeatable prices that will put a big smile on your face. Freshen up your walls with 20% off all paints and 25% off paint supplies. Upgrade your space with 25% off lights, fans, AC, and a wide selection of tiles to match your style. Plus, enjoy 30 to 50% off selective items. But that's not all. We also sell sand and gravel, blocks, roofing, and more. Find everything you need from construction start to finish. Don't miss out on our happy deals. Shop today or explore our online store at shopbuildersbz.com. Visit Builders Hardware in Belmopan. This is your happy place.
Easy. Accessible. Safe.
yours. Digi Wallet. Easy, accessible, safe, yours.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me
Welcome back to
Sweet
Rise and
Belize.
Shine. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Thursday morning. So I think it sounds good to those who do not understand economics when Mandami says free health, child care, free child care while you work, freeze of rent, free public transport, and then government-run grocery stores. Is it government-run or free? Is it free or just about
Same
free?
thing. Well, there's nothing free. Somebody's gonna pay for it.
Pay for it.
Right? Somebody's gonna have to pay for it.
I was shocked that wealthy New Yorkers are already paying over 50% tax because the money has to come from somewhere.
And so, Louis, people are going to leave New York. Businesses are going to leave New York. Listen to this. The president of Bank of America is having a meeting with Mamdani because they are looking at whether or not they can function there or whether they're going to move. You're talking about, that's probably a multi-trillion-dollar, and if they decide to move out of New York, but you know, companies are leaving. Elon Musk moved his companies out of California for the same exact reason. And so right now, I think gasoline is $2.70 in Texas. And they're talking, it's going to be hitting $8 in California. That means it's all tax. That's not the cost of gasoline. It's all tax. Tax. And so all of those taxes, it suppresses and represses the system, right? Whereas if you could cut loose on that, you stimulate business, and then you'll actually make more money back on taxes. But it's because more people are working, more people are making money, more people are paying income tax, and you have more people buying things because they got more money, so they're paying more sales tax, and everything starts to move, right?
So who are they? Like these are this is exactly what happened to Venezuela.
Yeah.
When there is a flight of capital and there is the flight of the brains.
Yeah.
This is the exact thing that happened to Cuba.
Yeah.
If even if they have to get what tractor tube and put board on it, they're leaving. And where are they leaving to? Where are they leaving to? The capitalist country.
Yeah.
They're moving from the social, and socialists, including in Belize, still talk fool. No, the same thing will happen in Venezuela and Cuba, where there is flight of capital and flight of people and flight of investors. The same thing happened in New York. Yeah. So it shows you that it is the socialist mentality, right, not some kind of forced American draconian. I'm sorry for these people. Yeah. It is true that if they understand economics, they wouldn't be socialists.
That's right.
Because those who work hard for their money will not sit and watch the government eat it all and then give it to people who don't work.
That's right. And so in the United States, people are moving over to other states that have a different system, yes, a different mindset, a different philosophy. Yes. And so where do we move to in Belize? You know,
that's why we have
to back our bush.
Yes,
go collect our firewood again.
We have to have these conversations,
yes,
to try to open the eyes of our Belizean people to understand that socialism doesn't work. And I'm telling you, whenever you hear a Belizean talk, and the way the government will do, and the way the government, so they want the government buy all the utilities with what? With what? Then you have to go do treasury bonds because the money does not exist. Then everybody want to increase a pay, and now public service is getting ready, the public servants, I know, PSU is now getting ready to do what the teachers did just a few months ago when we didn't have the 120 million, it's 112 months. So I see that the government, by saying no, they are going to have this committee that will look at cost of living, is a very good thing. Now what will they look at? How will they look at? So I still have questions, but at least it's a new perspective, I believe.
I want to throw in Wally point, which is connected, might seem disconnected, but Bolido, I believe the numbers are, last year, Bolido pulled in $200 million in revenue for the government. $200 million, Louis. I remember, I'm not sure what our education budget is now. I remember a number of years back when we were dealing with a lot. The education budget was the largest in the budget, $200 million. Yes, it's 200 and something, I imagine by now.
High, yeah.
Yes, and so, but $200 million a year government is making off of people buying Bolido. Then they pull in a lot of money and give out Wali chump change, which tells me, I'm bringing up this point, that means if people didn't buy that, there would be $200 million more in the economy that people could spend that money on something that's beneficial, that's actually truly going to help them as a family. And again, spending money within the economy, which is going to help the store owners, you know, which and helps the suppliers, and it's win-win-win for everybody. But then this 200 million is being sucked out from people that are buying Bolido. So we're not talking about casinos. We're talking about just Bolido.
Just the Bolido.
Just the Bolido.
Over 200 million.
$200 million.
I was shocked.
And people say no money, no day. And like, but we have enough to suck 200 million out from the people in Belize.
And the government is like
on this pie in the sky dream that, you know, I dreamed 27 last night, and I wake up this morning and my big toe on my left foot, the itch, and so I want to buy 27. And people put money in this pipe dream, and then the government is collecting revenue, you know, and like, instead of that money being out there going to work, and Lord have mercy. So I mentioned that partly because we have a gaming bill.
Yes, there's a gaming bill.
And I've yet to dive into it. I'm going to try and do that today. Yes. And I didn't even hear about it, Louis. Yeah. And you are a senator. And you didn't hear anything about any committee meeting or whatever?
Probably I was in Ireland at the time. That's the only thing I could think, because I tried to keep track of all of these things. But it surfaced for the Senate agenda.
And how many people showed up for the committee meeting? One person.
One person.
So-
That means it was not properly advertised, not properly promoted.
Yes.
And I'm just starting to get my gazettes now, Scott. So it was no fault of anyone. We don't have the PO box anymore, and so they were sitting there at the post office. So I had to go through September, October, and now November gazettes. And I'm telling you also, just looking at that, we have a problem still, because when they talk about laws that give ministerial discretion and minister the opportunity to legislate SIs, statutory instruments,
Statutory, yeah.
lot of statutory instruments they get passed because they don't go through the House and Senate. They just get passed because the law will pass through this House and Senate, give the minister the authority to create SI, and so lot more laws there, whether by SI.
And you don't find out unless you read the Gazette.
The Gazette, and nobody read no Gazette.
Yeah.
And my Gazette, and I realized it because now the Gazette pile up for 3 months, and I had to go through there and find all of the SIs, and so I don't know. I don't think I believe in SIs anymore, understanding the volume, because I think every issue should be debated. I mean, if we missed the committee meeting, we missed the committee meeting, but at least there was a committee meeting in that sense. There's a reading, first reading, second reading, and etc. And then it goes to the Senate and people ventilate it. But SI, you don't have a clue.
That's right.
Because they don't advertise it in social media. It's only in the Gazette, and nobody gets the Gazette. Practically nobody, as in, I'm using the term like the DPP use, less than nothing.
Yeah.
I say, I have to use a statement less than nothing.
We have some room for improvement, right? And so, we're supposed to be a democracy. Yeah. I mean, we are a democracy.
I would say the
supposed to be. But then all these things are slipping under and nobody knows.
Yeah, the advertisement for that committee meeting was less than nothing.
Yes. Yes. And they got a little bit one more than nothing, right? And so they got one person instead of zero.
Yeah. Maybe.
So Lord have mercy.
No, we got work to do, and we have to do the work.
Yes.
But why am I losing my train of thought?
Because we burned most of the show on socialism.
Yeah, so the gambling will have to
the philosophical and ideological thing. But then again,
gambling. We're talking about the gambling.
The gambling side, yes, and you know, Lewis, I've driven through the states, going up to Canada. My wife is from Canada. My parents live up in Washington State, and I kind of had a policy. Me not stay at Las Vegas. I don't got nothing to do with Las Vegas, right? Legalized prostitution, you know, addicted gamblers mortgage their home without their wife knowing and go to Las Vegas because their left toe to itch and they dream 27, 72 or whatever, right? And they go there and blow out everything for their house and left the family in debt. I don't have nothing to do with it. And driving through these signs, you know, these casinos, we love to make millionaires. My son said, Dad, the sign is missing 2 words, of ourselves. They're making millionaires of themselves. They're selling this pipe dream. It's all controlled, it's all rigged, right? And so anyways, I had to break the policy one time because we'd been driving for 12 hours and we reached in Las Vegas, and I learned the hard way from before. Once you leave Las Vegas, there's nothing. It's desert and mountains and dark. There's nothing. So we stayed at a casino, and I explained to the kids, you guys, this whole city has been built on people's losses, right? And so I'm only saying that, I'm not going to go any farther in the story because that's what gambling is. It's set, it's rigged, you know, whether that's from the poker dealer or the machines or whatever. They give the illusion, you know. But when you actually look at the data, how much money's coming in and how much is coming out, these people are making millions. And then
The ratio is set for the house.
Yes.
It's set for the
Yes,
house.
yes, yes. And yet people are going there thinking they're going to make millions, right? But you're going to lose millions. And so we drove down the strip in Las Vegas and we showed the kids everything here in this city has been built on people's losses, right? And
So the bill says they are going to establish a gambling industry based on fair play.
Fair play, and give a percentage of the proceeds back, for kind of like the marijuana referendum thing, right? And so here we have government regulating government again, and it's like, oh man, I can't believe this is craziness, right? So I prefer to work, for my money, and I would challenge and encourage everybody in Belize, you know, to do the same.
Did you follow the Remarie story? Paul Lopez.
Okay, yes. I wasn't familiar with the name. I'm sitting there trying to understand what this person is saying. I'm not sure if it's a male or a female or a transgender something, and I can't understand through the accent and the high voice.
Remarie owns a casino in Belize. Has an ATM that dispenses US cash.
In San Pedro,
Bought a ton load of golf carts.
Yes. Unauthorized.
That's money laundering because you don't have no way to put your money, so you dump it into a commodity that now you have so much of it that you're flooding the island with it. According to the story, the mayor end up with 2. Because of course you need your trade license and all of these types of stuff, and then you are a crook in the United States, but you qualify in Belize to run a casino. So how is that fit to play? Fit to you will get a chance when you look through the bill, because the bill came through so fast that I just scanned it. But fit to play, or fit to whatever, it's fit to something. I have it here, but our time is up. But how did Remarie become qualified in Belize to own a casino, to get all of these licenses? No man, we have to fix that bill, Scott. And so how can we have a bill passing through the house that can solve them kind of problem there, where they're in the news right now? And I thank God, because Attorney General Anthony Sylvester, he was sitting right at the leader of government business, and he slowed the bill down. Koyi, senior attorney, senior government advisor, senior senator, they said yes, there are issues with the bill, slowed it down, parked it.
Very good.
So that there can be...
I want to give an official thank you to the government for slowing the bill down. We spoke up on the families bill, and they pressed pause, and they're working on it. So that's speaking. We have to see the final thing, but that means they heard us.
And the opposition, Scott, because
the
first person to speak against the bill was, again, another senior politician, Honorable Patrick Farber, got up and did an excellent exposition on the problems of gambling and the vice and so on, and I was able to ride on that.
Very good.
As well as other senators spoke as well, and so we can't put the demons of Pandora back into the box. Wish we could, but we could. There's a whole lot that can be done.
We've learned some tricks in prayer where we can deal with some of those things too, right? And so, but what we're talking about, Lewis, is we're fighting for the goodness of our nation. We're fighting for the goodness of families, right? And
You're
so
closing.
That's it. I'm starting into that right now, right? But that's where we want to go, and that's why we're urging us in these things of what we call that are good and fruitful, and then you have these other things that are called vices. And like I said, there's no question about it, Lewis, that with the gambling, it's the bulk share is going to them, and then they sell the illusion of winning. When one of those one-armed bandit, thing, ding, 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 and money starts pouring out. Oh, somebody won, So, well, let me go try that. I'll try and see if I can. And what if it's 95% that they're making and only give out 5% to give the illusion, right? And so we should be smarter than that.
Coins.
Yes.
So it's a lot of
Yeah.
coins.
Because the coins make noise and it spills out all over the floor.
No, Scott, no. They make the tray out of a tin of a metal that makes noise.
Clank, 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 clank. Yes.
Because it's all psychology.
People don't get that ear tuned to that sound, right? So, anyways, we want to see the nation of Belize be fruitful and prosperous, and that's why we're talking about these things.
So it's not a bad bill, right? Because the bill consolidates 5 different bills, and they try to say under 18 will not, and they've increased the fines to 50,000 and that. So it's not that it is a bad bill. It's what's missing from the bill that can enhance and reduce addiction, and we can protect our children and protect municipalities that do not want. That's what's missing from the bill. So it's like they would look at the bill and say, well, we're improving, but what we are saying is, and what I said was, you tricked us. I was a young person. I was not a leader at the time, but I can clearly recall when Prime Minister Said Musa said that casinos are not for Belizeans, they are for tourists.
That's right. I remember that.
Exactly. And I said, we shall not forget. I said, so now government is your time to fix it. Because you are the same party that is in.
It's for tourists, and the hydroelectric dams are going to lower the price of electricity. We got sold
at Said Musa. Both of them were under the Said Musa administration.
A whole buffet.
Yeah, and we said no. Let's slow down. Let's improve it. Let's add more to it. And the government, as I said, satisfied. I'm satisfied that is taking place. It gives us an opportunity to review it. So we are grateful, and also grateful, as I said, to Patrick Faber. Not that the other lead opposition people didn't get up and support as well. But I think there was consensus that it needed a closer look.
Very good.
And I'm grateful.
Very good. That's democracy.
Yes.
That's democracy, and that's going to give us a better nation. So.
From all of us here, Rise and Shine, God bless you. Tomorrow again, Rise and Shine.
Louis,
God bless
thanks.
you, Scott.
Please have a wonderful day. A dry day, hopefully.
Yeah.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize.